Welcome to my podcast series, Independence for Life, diving into management, instruction, and guidance of your lifestyle as you continue your journey through life and into retirement/older age. Hi, my name is Nancy Brunicardi. I am an integrative nutrition health coach, nutritionist, certified caregiver, and fitness instructor and professional. I work independently in every capacity as described. I am the creator of Independence for Life. I am continuing my preparation of upcoming podcasts to help guide you on your journey of independence for life. So let's begin your journey of independence for life and keep in mind your why for being here today. And being healthy is not about weight loss you may experience, but about the life you gain by being a healthy weight, which is different for everyone. In my podcast 1 and 2, I provided the basis for why I started Independence for Life and what it is, but basically I am here to spread the word about the importance of movement, proper nutrition, and preparation for older age, and to educate people about movement and continued mobility with exercise and proper nutrition. Today is lesson number 5. The topic is sugar. So I'm going to talk about glucose, excess sugar, and artificial sugar. Glucose is the main type of sugar in blood and the primary source of energy for bodily and brain functions, which is why we require carbohydrates. When we eat carbs, our digestive system breaks down glucose, which enters the bloodstream. It also aids in fat burning as an additional energy source. Without carbs in our diet, protein and fats are used for energy. So let's start off by thinking about what sugar does for us and to us. For us, in a balanced diet, it's the body's primary energy source for all body cells. It provides fuel for the brain, for cognitive functions, for your muscles, for mass and physical activities, and other organs for energy reserves. What sugar does to us in excess and artificial, it makes us sick. It increases the risk of heart disease, increases the risk of cancer, increases the risk of diabetes, tooth decay, makes us fat, ages the body and causes wrinkles, hypertension, which is high blood pressure, insomnia, dizziness, allergies, hair loss, ADD, and ADHD. So next I'm going to burst some bubbles here because it is in my professional opinion that there is no such thing as zero sugar. Sugar is a master of disguise. Just because you don't see the traditional word sugar listed on the product doesn't mean it's sweetener free. Sorry to burst your bubble, guys, but this is just a marketing ploy. There are approximately 56 names for sugar. It's a good idea to read the ingredients of a food product and learn what you're eating and drinking. In food labeling, it can contain less than 0.5 grams of sugar per serving to be considered quote-unquote zero sugar, as regulated by the FDA. I am not a fan of the FDA for reasons as such. These items use artificial sweeteners like aspartame, acesulfame potassium, and others to provide flavor instead of traditional sugar. Zero sugar is a marketing ploy. They label the product as zero sugar to sell more products, and it's not a literal absence of any sugar at all. There are different names for sugar, and like I said, there are 56 of them, but I'm just going to give you some here. I'm not going to bog you down with that gigantic list. So I'm going to give you a few that are nutritive sweeteners, and of course we use that term loosely here when we talk about sugar. And they would be dextrose, sugar alcohols, white and brown sugar, honey, maple syrup, glucose, fructose, xylitol, sorbitol, and mannitol. Then there are non-nutritive sweeteners, which would be in the categories of artificial and alternative sweeteners known as acesulfame, which is not digested, and cancer-causing ones like aspartame, saccharin, and sucralose, which is also known as everybody's favorite, Splenda. It is in my professional opinion that Splenda is the devil. The next one I'm going to go over in more detail is your high fructose corn syrup, which is an added sugar. It's also a type of sweetener and a processed food ingredient. It is a major contributor to the obesity epidemic, which is a complex disease defined by excess body fat accumulation and presents health risks like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers. And it also contributes to high triglyceride levels, which is a common condition where there are elevated levels of fat in the blood, and it increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, and pancreatitis. High fructose corn syrup is an additive to sweeten food and drinks and to extend the shelf life. So there's more of that lovely marketing that they like to do to us. Just load us up with garbage and extend the life of the product so it's better in their pockets and not worry about the American people. I'm now going to go over a list of adverse health effects of excess consumption of high fructose corn syrup. Number 1 would be increased calorie intake, because high fructose corn syrup is a highly palatable product which can lead to overconsumption, contributing to weight gain and obesity. Number 2, insulin resistance. High fructose corn syrup can increase insulin levels, which can lead to type 2 diabetes. Number 3, fatty liver disease. High fructose corn syrup is metabolized primarily in the liver where it accumulates as fat. Number 4, high triglyceride levels. High fructose corn syrup can increase the production of triglycerides, which are fats accumulated in the bloodstream and contribute to heart disease. Number 5, inflammation. High fructose corn syrup can stimulate inflammation, which is associated with heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. And the last one I'm going to talk about today for the adverse health effects is disrupt body signals. So that phrase right there should be alarming. Nothing you eat or drink that's natural, I'm going to erase that. Anything you eat and drink should not disrupt any natural body function. Okay, because food is fuel and it should not be disrupting what it's trying to do for us. So, disrupt body signals. High fructose corn syrup can disrupt the body's normal full signals by affecting appetite regulating hormones and brain activity, which can lead to overconsumption. High fructose corn syrup lowers circulating leptin concentrations, which is the satiety hormone and the signal to tell the brain to stop eating, and allows for less suppression of ghrelin, hard time saying that, which is the hunger, the hunger hormone, which means the feeling of hunger is not diminished as effectively. So that high fructose corn syrup wreaks havoc on your body. So why are there so many different names for sugar? Well, I'm going to give you several reasons. 1, it has different sources and different forms. 2, because of the way it's processed. And 3, my favorite, sarcasm noted, to be able to hide it in your food-like products. So I will probably forever talk about non-whole foods as food-like products because that's what it is. It's a food-like product. It's not a whole food. So that's why I use that term as I do, so you can understand how I feel about it. So maybe you want to ask, so why did they add sugar to our food-like products? And I say, well, that's a great question. And here's why. Number 1, taste enhancement. To make it more appealing because they want you to keep coming back. So like I said, what high fructose corn syrup does, it turns off the signals that says, I am full, stop eating. And it continues to help you eat more of it. And these products are loaded with chemicals specifically targeted to make you want more of them. So when you have one, you'll find yourself saying, ooh, I'll have another. Ooh, I'll have another. And you'll keep repeating that, and your body won't say, okay, stop, I'm full. Okay? So to make it more appealing, so you can have more. They also add sugar for preservation, extending shelf life, more money in their pocket, right? So they don't have to keep throwing away what people don't buy. It'll last forever until somebody's going to come around and buy it. The next would be texture and bulk, again, to make it more appealing. Everything is about appealing, marketing and appealing. Sell, sell, sell. How about profitability? Sugar is cheap, it's readily available, and the food manufacturers use it to increase their profitability of their products, extending that shelf life, worrying about their pockets, not about us. How about sugar makes it easier for marketing, makes it more addictive, right? Food manufacturers use sugar to create products that are highly craveable and encourage repeat products. That's what I was talking about. They make them specifically so you keep buying them. They don't care what's in them. They just want you to keep buying. Consume, consume, and consume. Let's jump to different forms. So there are many different forms of sugar, but the two most commonly discussed are glucose and fructose. We are genetically wired to look for sweet food. Traditionally, it was an indication that the food was safe to eat. But today, we are exposed to sugar all the time, and it's everywhere, and it's added to a lot of processed food-like products. I want you to be able to identify what these words are, at least the more common ones. And when you're looking at the box of food that you're buying and it has the ingredients list, look at it. And if you don't know what it is, Google it. That's what I do, because I want to know. And then I can make that choice if I want that, if I want to eat that or not. That's my choice. You have the power. I'm trying to help you with more power, more education, so you can make those choices for yourself. Okay, so many sugars are going to end in OSE. Examples: sucrose, fructose, glucose, dextrose, galactose, and maltose. The different forms are monosaccharides, which is one sugar and is the building block of sugar for complex carbs and are naturally in fruit, vegetables, and milk. Then you have disaccharides, which is two sugars, two monosaccharides joined together, found in table sugar, beer, and dairy. And then you have polysaccharides. Poly means many. And these are your complex carbs, and they include starch, glycogen, and fiber. The common names for sugar that you probably will see most often will be sucrose, which is table sugar, your white sugar, or refined sugar. Anything refined, that's another term that we need to learn to try to stay away from as much as possible. And I will never talk about deprivation. I will always be a fan of moderation. Another common name is glucose, which I told you earlier in this podcast is the basis sugar or your blood sugar. Fructose, which is fruit sugar found naturally in fruit. Lactose, everybody knows that word. Milk sugar found naturally in milk and dairy products. And then maltose, which is a malt sugar found in sprouted grains. There are other names for sugar that I'm going to go over. So that was a list of common, and these are just other names that you probably will see on your packaged foods. So the first one, and my other arch enemy, I should say, which is high fructose corn syrup. It is a common liquid sweetener made from corn syrup. Then you have brown sugar, which is a less refined sugar. Next is molasses, which is a byproduct of sugar refining. Honey, a natural sweetener produced by bees. Next, maple syrup, a sweetener made from maple sap. And later in this podcast, I'm going to go over maple syrup and honey, so hang on to that. Agave nectar, a sweetener made from the agave plant. I'm not sold on agave as being superior. I know a lot of people think it's superior. I do not. Corn syrup, which is a liquid sweetener made from cornstarch. Dextrose, that's just another name for glucose. Evaporated cane juice, which is just a name to describe sugar. That's all that's telling you there. And fruit juice concentrate, which is a sweetener that had the water removed from the fruit juice. So you're left, so you have fruit juice, which is water and sugar. They take the water out, what's left? Sugar, right. Okay, so just be aware that that's also is considered sugar. You'll also will see on these packages sugar-related terms. So any words ending in OSE, most words ending in OSE indicate a sugar, which could include dextrose, fructose, lactose, maltose. You'll see terms for powdered sugar, which is confectioner's sugar, which is a finely ground and often mixed with cornstarch. It's very powdery. You need a lot of it if you're baking with it, so just be careful there because of the quantity. Syrups, you'll see names like rice syrup, barley malt syrup, sorghum syrup. They're all just sugar sweetened liquids. It's just all sugar. You'll also see caramel and carob syrup. These are types of sugar-based sweeteners. So these are just sugar-related terms that you'll see. And that's everything I'm talking about, this is all sugar, okay? Next, I would like to jump to compromised health issues. And let me just start at the beginning of my podcast. I give you my credentials, but I also feel the need to tell you that I'm not a medical doctor. Anything I tell you here, I have learned in school, done my research, helped someone directly, gone through it myself. So I'm giving you information here. If you have questions medically, please see your doctor. I'm just giving you information so you know how you want to proceed in your life. Compromised health issues. Continuously elevated blood sugar may lead to weight gain and may compromise health over time. Blood sugar spikes can be combated by eating balanced meals, which would be carbs, proteins, and fats. When I talk about fats, I'm talking about healthy fats. You got your nuts, your seeds, your healthy oils, olive, avocado, things like that. Most people consume over 22 teaspoons of sugar each day. And what's recommended would be 6 for women and 9 for men. Sugar cravings is a signal that your body is missing essential nutrients. You want to crowd out these cravings with nutritious foods. Okay, so what does that mean exactly? So if you're training your brain and your body by can't say only, that's a little harsh. But if you're training your body and your brain with sugar more than you should in excess and using fake sugars also, that's what your body's going to crave, but that's not what it really wants, okay? It wants the complete opposite. It's telling you, I need nutrition. Please help me here, okay? So, and then you say, well, how do I break that cycle? How do I get off that train? And I would tell you, don't do deprivation. Like I said earlier, moderation is key, but to get to that point, crowding out the sweets. So here's what I do, and here's an example. So I will save my sweets, which I make myself. I bake my own cookies. I make my own candy. I have control over the ingredients that I choose and not what they choose to give me. So after I have dinner, that's when I have my sweets. Immediately after dinner. I don't wait an hour. I don't wait 20 minutes. I have it immediately, and here's why. I'm not putting all that sugar into an empty stomach, and that goes right into the bloodstream. That causes your spikes. Excuse me, I need to sip of water. I am putting my sweets that I make myself, that I make those choices myself, into my stomach on a full belly. So that causes a couple of things. It's not allowing for that sugar to go directly into my blood system. And it's also allowing me not to eat as much, right? So if I have an empty stomach and I'm looking at the box of cookies that I made for myself, I put it in a tin. If I'm looking at all those cookies, my recipe yields 50 cookies. If I have an empty stomach, I am more likely to eat more than 2, 3 cookies, right? If I have it directly after dinner, that those cookies are on top of my food. They're not going directly into my bloodstream, not causing any spikes, not causing any cravings. And there's not more room for just a couple of cookies. Okay, that's just a trick. So you want to crowd out the sweets. Having more nutrition, whole food will help you to crowd out the sweets. At the end of my podcast, I'm going to give you my email address. If you have any questions or needs, you can reach out to me. I will help you. So let's look at natural sugar versus added sugar. And your body is efficient at breaking down food into glucose. So let's look at where these sugars are coming from. Your natural sugar, which is your complex carb, and it naturally occurs in fruits and vegetables. And these foods are packed with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and fiber, which helps reduce a glucose spike that can lead to compromised health. So that's what I was talking about, right? Not having that spike. Eating your sweets right after the meal. Having it at the same exact time. Then you have your added sugars, which is your added sugar, which is a simple carb. And anything that has the word simple in front of it doesn't sound so great, does it? So if that helps you to remember, simple carbs are really not our friends. So sugar added during the process, that's what added sugar is, added during processing. So let's talk about those sources where they're adding all this sugar. Well, your number one is soda. We should do a whole podcast on soda because that's a terrible product. Your grain-based desserts, your sauces, dips, candies. That's just a few. These foods are higher in calories and lower in nutritional value. These foods are typically eaten alone, which means they are more likely to lead to a significant rise in blood glucose. Without fiber to signal fullness, foods that contain added sugars are more likely to be consumed in excess, and that's what I was trying to tell you. I eat my dessert with my dinner. Excuse me. Where are we now? Okay. So let's talk about keeping with your added sugar. Let's see how that affects your health, right? So it may increase memory defects and a risk for Alzheimer's, may cause cardiovascular disease, which is an increased blood pressure and triglycerides, may lead to insulin resistance and an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. Now, I've said that term several times, type 2 diabetes. Let's break that down. What is it? It is a chronic condition where the body either doesn't produce enough insulin or can't use it effectively, leading to a high blood sugar level. Some symptoms people experience could be increased thirst, frequent urination, slow healing sores, frequent infections, tingling or numbness in the hands and feet, fatigue, hunger, blurred vision. And like I said, speak to your doctor about managing these symptoms with your lifestyle. Maybe choosing better eating habits, getting regular exercise. How about some weight loss? They may prescribe medication. You may also have to monitor your blood sugar. Back to how added sugar affects your health. It misplaces nutrient-dense calories and may lead to malnourishment and vitamin deficiencies. How about dental caries? Your beautiful teeth, right? All that sugar lingering in your teeth. It also may distort feelings of fullness, which can cause overeating and an increased risk of diabetes. May disrupt gut microbiome and negatively impair immunity, and promote inflammation, which is the body's natural defense mechanism to protect itself from harm like pathogens, injury, and toxins. Chronic inflammation is the underlying cause of many chronic diseases such as heart disease, cancer, and autoimmune disorders. It is triggered or worsened by lifestyle factors like poor diet, chronic stress, lack of exercise, and insufficient sleep. Excess sugar may negatively impact health over time, and it means excess calories are being consumed, which encourages fat storage. It can contribute to low nutrient intake, excess energy intake, obesity, various organ problems, diabetes, constipation, cardiovascular disease, and dental issues. Diets high in complex carbs, which are the good guys, including fiber, have been linked to reduced risk of GI disorders, heart disease, and cancer. So let's look at the trend of sugar consumption. Sugar consumption increases because of the amount of sugar added to a wide variety of packaged foods and drinks. It is estimated that approximately 1/3 of added sugar intake is solely from soft drinks. And I will forever tell you, don't drink your calories. And if you have to drink your calories, and if you're used to having 3, have 1. Again, let's get away from deprivation and let's work on moderation. It's a little more realistic, I feel. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 9 teaspoons a day for men and 6 for women. Like I said earlier, we're getting about 22 teaspoons. That's a lot. That's a lot of sugar. And I'm going to give you some sources of how much we're getting. So if you look at just an average candy bar, there are 6 teaspoons. In an energy drink, there are 7. And if you're using those, how many are you having a day? These are questions that you should be asking yourself. How about a latte has 10? How about those sports drinks that we think are so good for us? There's 13 in one drink. And get this, a whopping 18 teaspoons in one 24-ounce container of soda. How many are you having a day? The top 10 sources of added sugar would be, and this is the top 10. This is not everybody, but we have soda/energy/sports drinks. There are better versions of all 3 of those. And if we do our research, we can find them. And I can help you find them also, because I like those things too, but I reach for better versions of them. And I have them on occasion. Moderation. Next, top 10 sources of added sugar, your grain-based desserts. So what does that mean? Your cookies, your cakes, muffins, things like that. Fruit drinks, candy, dairy desserts, tea, ready-to-eat cereals, sugars and honey, yeast breads, and syrups and toppings. Next, I'm going to tell you about specific terrible products and artificial sweeteners. The number 1 on my list is diet soda. I used to be a diet soda addict, and I broke that cycle. Yay for me. I will never go back to it. Not like I was. I mean, I had it every day, all day. I felt literally addicted to it. And they do that to you on purpose, like I told you earlier. So, diet soda can do what to us? Kidney problems, messes up metabolism, causes obesity, terrible hangover, cell damage, rotting teeth, weakened bones, reproductive problems. Artificial sweeteners make you crave more of it. Caramel color is tainted with carcinogens, formaldehyde, and aspartame poisoning. Don't you want to grab a diet soda right now? I hope the answer is no. Next would be those energy drinks we're all addicted to, which can cause increased heart rate and blood pressure, nervousness, insomnia, headaches, dehydration, heart palpitation, kidney damage, dental erosion, increase of obesity, and diabetes due to high sugar content, and cause addiction. Totally all makes sense. Next one would be those forever good for us, sarcasm noted, sports drinks. They are high sugar, high calorie content, which can lead to weight gain and increased risk of type 2 diabetes, obesity, and dental issues, digestive discomfort, high sodium content, artificial ingredients like sweeteners, colors, and flavors, blood sugar spike and crash. And they're really, really unnecessary for people not engaged in prolonged, intense exercise. And even people that are like that, There are better products, and I will forever tell you, if you're dehydrated, drink water. And I know people personally that say water tastes disgusting, and I don't understand that myself, but that's how they feel about it. So get a fresh whole lemon or any type of fresh whole fruit, put it in your water if you need that extra flavor. Whole fruit as your sweetener. Put it in the water to help you ingest. The next one on the terrible products and artificial sweeteners list is aspartame, aka the devil. And did you know the FDA denied approval for it for 20 years? What does that tell you? So it can make you fat by stimulating your appetite, increasing carb cravings, and promoting fat storage, destroys brain cells, causes obesity, depression, migraines, brain tumors, Alzheimer's. It's also genetically modified. It's made from feces of E. coli bacteria. Delicious. May cause birth defects and may cause cancers. And you will find it in over 6,000 food products that are popular. The next one on my list is saccharin, which can cause metabolic disorders, alter composition of gut bacteria, headaches, nausea, increased thirst. Next one is sucralose. It has metabolic effects, may increase insulin levels and blood sugars, which may lead to weight gain, obesity, type 2 diabetes, digestive problems like bloating, gas, diarrhea, neurological effects, which are rare, but they're still out there, increased appetite leading to increased calorie intake. The next one is acetylmame potassium. It's a little hard to say. Has an impact on gut microbiome. I'll spell that one since I'm having trouble saying it's ACESULFAME. Acetylmame potassium. That's my pronunciation. The next one is neotame, GI upset, headaches, changes in gut microbiome. And the last one I'm going to talk about is processed foods and fast foods. They are high in calorie density, high in refined sugars like white sugar, corn syrup, or artificial sweeteners, high in refined grains like white flour, low or devoid in nutrients, low or devoid in fiber, high and sometimes really high in sodium. And guys, you have to watch your sodium intake as it relates to your blood pressure. And they are sometimes high in saturated fats and cholesterol and trans fats. So this fast foods, look delicious on the TV, sound great, maybe good on the palate, but afterward wreak havoc everywhere mentally and physically. I am now going to talk about the white ones, and the white ones would be your bread, pasta, potatoes, and rice. So let me tell you how I feel about these four individually. Your body recognizes them as sugar. That's why they've made today's podcast, which is all about sugar. Okay, the four white ones: bread, rice, pasta, potatoes. They are refined grains, which means the fiber is removed from the process, which means the sugar is left behind. And if the fiber is not there to help the sugar, it's nothing but sugar. They are all high glycemic carbs that may cause rapid blood sugar spikes, which leads to a cycle of cravings and potential weight gain. You have crashes and you have cravings. They make you feel hungry soon right after, and then you want to eat more and have more carb cravings. So these four I speak of, these are carbs: bread, pasta, potato, rice. These are carbs. Okay, I used to be a carbaholic. Before I lost 50 pounds in 2008, that's all that I craved. That's all that I wanted. And that's because that's all that I ate. It was a vicious cycle, but I broke that cycle. To this day, that cycle is still broken. And when I look at those four white ones, that's all I see is sugar. I'm able to compartmentalize food in such a way that those four I see as sugar. So if you're going to have them, have the best version of them. And there are products that are made in better versions. You just have to look for them. You have to research. You have to find them. And I can help you do that as well, because I look for them too, but not quite often at all. I'm in the moderation very, very rare moderation category with bread, pasta, potatoes, and rice. And give you an example for pasta. They make it out of chickpeas now, which really holds up well in the cooking process. Excuse me. Holds up well in the cooking process versus pasta made from rice. Okay, so I've experimented with a lot of these alternatives, a lot of these gluten-free alternatives, if you will. So with these four, weight gain is a possibility because of the excess sugar that they bring to you is converted into fat. Your body does not know what to do with anything in excess. It's going to turn into fat. It's going to store it. There are, like I said, healthier alternatives. They're out there, and I'm going to give you a small list of them. So healthier alternative would be your whole grains, and I will forever tell you gluten-free is your best friend. How about some legumes? And then also reach for non-starchy vegetables. They're all higher in fiber and gradually digest and promote blood sugar control. Blood sugar spikes we want to get away from. Blood sugar control, that's where it's at. Your non-starchy vegetables will help you there. So the four white ones, and I pretty much say anything, not anything white, that's too broad of a statement, but for the most part, all that white really is not good for us, okay? If you want to go to white, reach for cauliflower. Even with potato, so bake the potato instead of frying it, right? So that's your better version, and let's not load it up with all those fats, like the butter, sour cream, cheese, bacon. Let's save that for moderation. Or maybe reach for sweet potato that you've baked also. How about rice, jasmine rice, black rice, things like that. Bread, gluten-free, pasta made from chickpeas, made from lentils. There are choices. So I'm trying to give you ammunition to make better choices. So earlier I said I was going to go over honey and maple syrup, because I'm going to try to give you some healthier sugar options, because there really are no healthy sugar options, not when it comes to simple carbs. Okay, complex carbs have all the natural sugar that you really need, but if you're looking for something sweet like we all do, and I do it too, I'm going to try to give you some of the healthier sugar options. And there are calorie-free sweeteners like stevia, which I don't care for the aftertaste of it. So there's stevia, monk fruit, and there are natural options like honey, maple syrup, and dates, which contain small amount of nutrients. And most people don't know about dates for sugar. It's a really great alternative. However, any sugar/sweetener should be used in moderation, just like I said. Okay, moderation. Natural sweeteners may be on the low glycemic index, but they can still impact your blood sugar levels. The healthiest choice, let me say that again, the healthiest choice is your whole fruit to sweeten anything. Got a food processor? Throw those babies in there. Don't have one? Get a fork and mash them up. Okay, so give you an example. Making pancakes. I will grab almond flour, mash up a banana. I can't remember the recipe exactly. Maybe an egg as a binder, and whisk that up. Fry them up like a pancake with some avocado oil. Delicious. And I didn't add any sugar. It's nuts, fruits, healthy oil, fry in the pan. Delicious. Avocado oil can withstand high heat, unlike olive oil. Okay, so let me give you some healthier sugar options. Here's the list. So you have your agave. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan, but just know that it is high calorie and it is highly processed sugar product. Next, we have honey. So honey is everything I'm going to tell you next from 2 to number 7. These are all natural and they are less processed. So you have honey is on there, and it does contain trace minerals and antioxidants, but it is high in calories. But you don't need a lot of it anyway because it is sweet. Next, you got coconut sugar, which has small amounts of vitamins and antioxidants. Maple syrup It is a better option over refined sugar, and it does have some nutrients. But with the honey and the maple syrup specifically, look for organic and raw. Get the best version of it that you can, and you really won't need a lot of it. Same with the dates. It is a whole food option that provides fiber and nutrients. Just like when I do my gluten-free baking, I reach for chickpea flour. Same thing. It provides fiber and nutrients. So I'm not just having white bleached flour to make my cookies. So I'm having a healthier version of what I want to have. I have the control over that. How about your beet sugar? That has a trace amount of vitamins and minerals. And the last is molasses, but it is a byproduct of sugar, but it does have some nutrients. And when I tell you these have nutrients, it's very trace, it's very minimal. It's not really a good source of them. Next, we're going to talk about, or maybe ask yourself this question, avoid or moderation. And like I said, as a professional here, I say, let's not deprive ourselves. Let's use moderation, okay? So avoiding leads to overconsumption. Sugar is something that we should stay away from as much as possible. So if we can start there, and then anything after that, I think we'll be victorious in. But you may turn to artificial sweeteners to satisfy your sugar cravings, but it's actually maybe worse than real sugar for causing cancer because it's artificial. Artificials, they're comprised of many different types of chemical compounds, including aspartame, saccharin, asfalmane potassium, neotame, sucralose. While real sugar may not be great for cancer cells, at least you can rest easy knowing that it's natural substance. That's what our body is looking for. It's looking for natural substance, not anything artificial. These artificial sweeteners are all comprised of compounds that introduce chemicals into your body, some of which may be dangerous. Does that sound like you should be eating it if it's dangerous? I don't think so. Aspartame is probably the worst compound of the bunch. It should not be in our food system. However, despite these warnings, big food labels continue to pump their drinks full of substance, and people who suffer from diabetes continue to choose these quote-unquote diet drinks to help keep their blood sugar levels down. Saccharin is another compound that should be avoided, although it is less carcinogenic than aspartame, which is also sucralose. Okay, so know these names, know these words. So knowing that is where the avoiding or moderation comes into play. Let's look at brand names that kill. Yes, I said the word kill. You have artificial sweeteners. They come in different names, just like regular sugar, artificial sugar, any sugar. They come in all different types of names. So you have NutraSweet, there's Equal, Sweet and Low, and Splenda. All of these brands are commonly carried anywhere coffee is sold. Splenda is the undisputed master of the game. To me, it is the devil. And the truth about Splenda, it releases a harmful chemical when it is heated, known as chloropropanol, which is a form of dioxin, an incredibly dangerous and toxic chemical. So why is it okay to put that in the products we are ingesting? That is the biggest question of them all, and I think you know the answer, and the answer is money. So last subtopic of lesson number 5 today, why limit or quit sugar? So again, I'm just giving you information here. Maybe ask yourself these questions and see where you want to be. You know, this is, you're an adult. This is up to you. Remember why you're listening to this and what are you trying to gain from it. So sugar is very high in calorie, but not very not very filling, which causes overeating. So if you're going to eat 10 cookies or 10 pieces of broccoli, what's going to make you feel more full? The broccoli is, right? So have your 10 pieces of broccoli and have 1 cookie, right? Moderation, yes? Sugar suppresses the immune system. If you eat sugary foods and drinks all day on a regular basis, it stops the immune system from working properly. So anytime I get sick with a cold, or if I'm down and out in bed or something, I try to avoid sugar at all costs and have whole foods like crazy. I load my body up with vitamins and minerals. Sugar causes inflammation. We talked about that earlier. Tooth decay. It accelerates the aging process by reducing the release of human growth hormone. And then you say, okay, well, you're giving me all these reasons to limit or quit sugar. Well, how do I do that? I'm going to give you some reasons. Not that this whole entire podcast should not have been a red flag, but I'm going to break it down just a little bit more. So we want to eat regularly to avoid blood sugar drops. And you always want to start with breakfast. And that breakfast should be a protein, healthy fat, fruits if you like it, vegetables preferred. Vegetables have less natural sugar than fruits do. Include healthy fats and protein in each meal to control your blood sugar levels, right? We said that before. Controlling them and not spiking them. So eating regularly. If you're going to eat once a day, twice a day, that's where overconsumption of excess sugars, artificial sugars come into play. Okay, so if we can eat regularly, I eat 6 times a day. They are not gigantic meals, but you can maybe even call it a snack, if you will, just for the size. But I'm eating every 2 to 3 hours. Helps keep my metabolism running, helps keep me feeling like I am eating often and not reaching for something terrible. I also, because I work outside of the house, bring, for old school way to say, brown bag it. I bring my cooler of my food every day since 2008. We talked about this earlier, crowd it out and your body will adjust and the desire for sugar may disappear. And let me briefly tell you my experience with that. So when I went through my transformation in 2008, when I lost the 50 pounds through diet and exercise, my mentor said she changed my diet, and she said, this is how you're going to eat. And it did not include any of the Oreos and the Reese's and anything like that there. It didn't include any of that. And I didn't tell her, but I went home and I was so mad about that I got a journal and a pen out. And I wrote down everything that I was going to go back to eating. Nutter Butters, Milky Way, Snickers, Oreos, Reese's, all the big names, M&M's. I literally made a list. And I said, I'm going back to all this stuff after I'm done with this diet that this woman has put me on. I was so mad about it. I'm like, I'm going back to this. I was determined. By week 3, I didn't want any of it anymore. I did not want it anymore because she showed me how to eat regularly, whole foods. Time of day matters too. The amount of food you eat matters too. What are you drinking? That matters too. Me as a health coach, I can help you with that. That's what I do. I've been through it. And I still live that lifestyle change to this day. So crowd it out and your body will adjust. And that sugar desire will disappear. Next is we're still on that how to quit, limit sugar, is emotional eating. So when this happens, let me back that up a second. Emotional eating. So when we eat, we want to eat with full awareness by asking yourself if you're eating because you're bored, worried, or are you stressed? And if you say yes to any of those, let's find a distraction. I know easier said than done, yes. But if we can try to do these things and let's not excuse ourselves out of that and say, I can't do that. That's not impossible. And you haven't even tried. Well, you're already giving up. You're already not giving up, but you're already attaching a negative connotation to it. So if we can try these things before immediately dismissing them, see if they work. And it may not work for you on the first time. You may have to do it several times to make it become a habit, and habits work. So if you're finding yourself emotionally eating because you're bored, worried, or stressed, or any of those, let's maybe go for a walk, get a book and read it, try yoga, watch a movie, listen to music, any type of distraction to get you away from emotional eating. And keep at that and keep trying it. And maybe have a journal and writing it down, like what's happening to you, why am I trying to eat, and what have I done as a distraction, how did I feel after that distraction? So you can go back and look and remember what worked for you and what didn't work for you, and to try to help you reach any goal that you're trying to attain, or just through life in general. When I went through my transformation, I had a journal, and it helped me tremendously. It gave me that accountability factor, and it worked beautifully. I didn't journal forever, I think 6 months or less. I can't remember exactly, but that was it, and that was forever ago. But it helps you get to where you want to go. It helped me. So another way to try to limit is to reduce the amount of processed foods. You know, when you go to the grocery store, make a list, stick to that list. If you're not bringing it into the house, how are you going to eat it? If it's at work, look the other way, go the other way. Bring something in replacement of those temptations at work. Bring that brown bag of food, right? Bring that cooler. You have your food, so you don't go to other temptations. Include trace minerals, specifically chromium, vanadium, magnesium, and zinc in your diet. So these types of minerals are going to help you with the crowding out process. So if you can Google which foods have them and include them in your diet. Keep sugary foods and drinks out of your home and your workspace. Remove all the temptations. That's what I was talking about before. Removing the temptation. If it's not there, you can't have it. If it is there, get a replacement. Like if those temptations are always going to be there, bring your replacement. Eat more vegetables, because you should. No, because there are fewer calories and they calm the urge for carbs. Vegetables are a beautiful thing. Eat them all the time. Drink more water versus sugary drinks. This is what I talked about also. Water is your best friend. Get to like it. Maybe try it cold, ice cold. Try it warm. Try different brands have different flavors for whatever reason, whatever their formula is. You know, try different ways about it. Adding adding fresh adding fresh fruit to it for different types of flavors. But getting to like fresh water is just, it's amazing, and it's beneficial in more ways than a sugary drink will ever do for you. So last point about limiting or quitting sugar, how to be patient with yourself, okay? Give yourself time to adjust and let the crowding out sugar happen organically as you make better food choices, which puts you in control. And all of this and anything I ever talk about, just be patient with yourself. Give yourself time to adjust. You know that old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day? Well, you didn't get to where you were in a day. This could be a lifetime battle. This could be something you've always fought for. That's what I went through. For 10 years, I yo-yoed up and down with my weight. And I tried different fad diets, but they were not sustainable. Since 2008, that's when I went through my lifestyle change. To this day, I am the same. To this day. So I told you I was going to give you my email address, but my handle is Independence for Life. Excuse me. Independence for Life, and the 4 is a number 4. So Independence for Life. And I will give you my email address right now. That is IND, the number 4, LIFE llc@gmail.com, and reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns, or if there's a topic for a podcast that you're interested in that I can do for you. Coming up next will be lesson number 6, which the topic is staying a step ahead, because we have the holidays and New Year's coming up, So I wanted to help you out there as much as I could. And remember why you're listening to my podcast. And I thank you very much for being here today. And my name is Nancy Branicardi, Independence for Life.